A lot of countries thought they'd have it over us.
The fin, like the one that gets
LMA points to the post.
I've never felt so ill in my life.
If England wanted a perfect scenario, this is
I
it.
had to tell her, you better lift me.
In the World Cup final, I'm gonna die like this.
And in your life, have you ever seen anything like it? From the depths of despair to World Cup winners once more.
The Women's World Cup is this Saturday.
You know, our wahine are going to have a hard tournament. I think that we've had a rough run-in.
So tahi e tū atu nei ki te whakatau i a mātou ki roto i tēnei whare, ki roto anō hoki i tēnei kaupapa whakahirahira.
The thought of going in as underdogs was crazy.
Oh, we're going to train very hard because we're going to create some chaos for teams down the track. And we're going to bring bloody fire.
Obviously, coming off the back of that end-of-year tour, I believe, like a lot of countries, thought, you know, that they'd probably have it over us. And rightly so, because the scorelines that they had just put on us.
This English side that's come down is a very, very good side. They thumped us last year.
Everyone knew that England were the tournament favourites, but also knew of their record winning streak.
They had been unbeaten for 30 consecutive games.
I had an interview with a news channel and she said to me, what's it like being the underdogs? And I was just so mad, you know? I was at home and the Black Ferns have an amazing legacy and reputation.
Yeah, very unusual to come in with this record that we had, with these stars that we've had, and be underdogs. But I think people have written them off.
For us to be seen as the underdogs was just more fuel to the fire. Getting to the stadium for that opening match, the excitement was real, the nerves were real. You know, it was the first standalone women's rugby game to pack out Eden Park Stadium. When the bus was going into the entrance, everybody was waiting for us and just screaming for us.
That was the pinnacle of my career at that point. So understandably, I was very nervous, but excited. I guess it's always been a dream of ours to have like a home crowd. When we found out it was sold out, it was like, whoa, emotional.
So just welcome you into this room. Just an honour. It's funny, because when I was driving here, all I could think, like, words that come in my head was, let me introduce myself. Let me introduce the Black Ferns of 2022, you know? So just go out there and express yourself. Don't worry, man. Like, we got you, girls. I got to play alongside Linda Heaps. She was a player who had very high standards and very big shoulders, and that's how she did the talking on the field. And she wanted us to reintroduce ourselves because for a lot of us, it was our first time ever playing in a World Cup.
Number 8.
I was really proud, like, first jersey preso for my first ever World Cup, and I knew I was going to be playing it in front of my family and friends. Like, it was crazy. Like, I think it's one thing to debut for your first World Cup, but then it's another to be able to do it in front of your home country.
Number 15, Renee Holmes.
Receiving my first Black Ferns World Cup jersey was a feeling like no other. To be involved in an historical game match for women's rugby was pretty nerve-wracking.
Number 4, Jonah Nangwu. And our captain, number 10, Kira Hayes, Max.
For For us as Black Ferns, we don't actually get many opportunities to play. So every jersey that you're presented with, it's so important.
Last message is, first team can attack, but none of that means shit if we can't defend. Today, the crowd is too big to not be physical. Sit someone on their ass and make sure you do your job and you have each other's backs. One last challenge. The last 2 times we played this team, they scored 80th minute. I don't think that's fair. We play to the end. If you're on that field at the 80th minute, you defend like one of the heads on. All right? That's what's going to get us over the line.
I don't think I ever could have imagined the roar that I heard as I walked through those tunnels and actually stood there for the anthem.
I think we tried to prepare for it as best we could. We went through things like having a speaker at training so that we couldn't hear ourselves, but I don't think you could truly put yourself in those shoes until you've been there.
It was actually quite a big, nerve-wracking kind of feeling. It was a feeling that I'll definitely never forget.
I was super proud to start that first game, as well as having like my entire family in the crowd with all the poise everywhere. Yeah, it was amazing.
New Zealand will host the Women's Rugby World Cup in 2021.
It will be the first time the Women's World Cup has been in the Southern Hemisphere. 12 teams are set to take part in the tournament, which is expected to generate millions and attract thousands.
Bring on 2021!
I was worried. I've had the opportunity, and as other girls have in the team, to play in countries like England and France, and they have a huge fan base. And I knew that every time I played for the Black Ferns in New Zealand, we've never been able to generate even like a third of the numbers that they can. And every time I tried to visualise myself at a World Cup, there was no one in the stands.
I think for me, I didn't even think anyone would show up, and that's just being straight up. We've played in empty stadiums, or you can hear your whānau in the crowd. You know, it's just something that's never, ever been done before. And then for them to say that we were having a home World Cup, I was like, no one's going to come and watch. Like, it's going to be so, you know, like shame.
I think the New Zealand public maybe didn't understand or know what the Black Ferns can produce.
So we were quite nervous, and I think that's just the expectation that we put on ourselves, and that's not like the weight of the nation. I think for me it was more the past players. Pretty much if you talk to all of them, what they dreamed of was a home World Cup.
Women have played rugby in New Zealand as long as men have. The modern game, though, that kind of kicked off in the 80s. In '91, we were one of the teams that was invited by a group of women that were organising the first ever World Cup. So they did it themselves. Fast forward to the first official sanctioned tournament, that was 1998. And that's what started that ridiculous winning record. 98 through to 2010, basically unbeaten, winning all of the World Cups. So, you know, that's something that's really unique about that Black Ferns identity.
It's a team of mana wahine. You know, when you come into this Black Ferns team, you know that there's been a lot of sacrifice there. Our trailblazers, they didn't get paid and all that, but they still were able to get around and influence the world on how women's rugby should be played and showed people that women can play.
I think definitely being a part of the team has made me very aware of how much the black jersey actually means to not just us as players, but the caretakers before us and our country.
They're the champions by 44-12.
New Zealand know now the champions' title is theirs.
The woman who had captained New Zealand to all 3 World Cup victories.
It's a big lineup for the Black Ferns. It needs to be tonight. The crowd near capacity.
Arabella McKenzie to the roar of the Eden Park crowd.
There was a bit of nerves there, to be fair, at the start. All of those, you know, late nights, those early mornings, the hard conversations, the, you know, running hard at each other at trainings that all started actually coming out within those couple of moments after that first whistle blew.
Captain, McMenamin's put that one down early.
I remember it going to the left and then I was coming in to run a tip line. Oh no, timing was a little bit out. Pass was a bit too unsympathetic, so I knocked it on. And actually for me, like, people might have thought I was nervous, but it was just a wrong timing. Everything was a little bit off. Probably wasn't the best start because it put us on the back foot.
Receiver, and already you see that change of direction, how quick.
And then they kind of just got their tails up, like they were just into us, and they were just going width to width. And we kind of didn't know how to handle that in the beginning, and we're a bit shell-shocked.
Fredericks, wide ball, Sarita and Holmes. Sarita's powerful, she's fast, she's strong, and she's over. Coxedge for Tui, quick hands to man, but Avania Wong is going to streak in to grab a second for the Wallaroos. Ghosting across Pliate, and the line here's Sarita again, Gian Sarita!
For me personally, I think that was probably one of the roughest 40 minutes I've probably ever played.
The defence is having to push across, straight in.
We were not playing how we trained, especially defensively. I think that and the occasion probably got the better of us.